Hi, my name is Tatiana Summerall, and this is a continuation of the introductory video. This is going to be a demo of the smartphone-based speech assessment project. It is a mobile application developed using Flutter. So as discussed in the introductory video, this would be ideally used by a doctor or a researcher, probably a speech-language pathologist, and it would be used to assess, treat, diagnose a patient, possibly prevent disease. So at this point, a speech-language pathologist most likely would open up this app and they would be brought to this test menu screen. So this is a list of all available tests that can be used to assess a patient. So I will just go ahead and demo this test, which is the Patika test. So what the speech-language pathologist would do, they would determine that this is the test that is appropriate for this particular situation and this particular patient. They would click this button. They'd be brought to this instruction page. These instructions are for the patient because we are collecting speech data from the patient. So here we have some text instructions, but we also included audio instructions because it's likely that the patient could be an elderly patient and perhaps they have issues with eyesight, perhaps they're even blind. So we could press this button right here so that you can get the audio version of these instructions.
Take a breath of air and say pataka, 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 as fast, as long, and as steadily as you can.
Once the patient understands what they're supposed to do, they can come here and press Begin Test. So at this point, we have a few options. If the patient is unsure of the instructions or they forgot the instructions, they can always come back to the instructions by pressing this button. And they can just redo the process of reading and listening to the instructions. And once they're sure, they can press this button that says Return to Test, come here. As you notice, we have an infinity symbol under this clock, and what that means is that the patient can take as much time as they need for the test, but maybe there's some circumstances in which the speech-language pathologist wants it to be a timed test. So if we wanted to adjust that, we could press this button right here. And as we see, timed is selected, and we can just mess around with this and select a time. There's a minimum time of 5 seconds and a maximum of 15. Another thing to note is that if we press manual, this grays out and you can no longer select a time. And what this does is it ensures that the time will be infinite. So for demo purposes, let's come to timed. I'll go ahead and select 10, press confirm. And at this point, I'm going to record myself doing the test. So like the instructions said, I'm going to say the phrase Patika, Patika, Patika as many times as I can, as fast as I can. And as I do the test, take notice of this icon right here. It's going to turn into a speaker icon, and it will be red with a slash through it if it's not collecting any audio, and it will be green if it is collecting audio. So I'll go ahead and do the test. Patika, Patika, Patika. Patika, Patika, Patika. 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 Patika, Patika, Patika. Okay, great. So one thing to note from that is that the speaker icon does become red, not only if you're not speaking, if it's not picking up audio, but also if you're speaking too loudly. So that's just a way for the patient to make sure, the patient and the speech-language pathologist to make sure that the speech volume is within the desired range. So at this point, we can go ahead and play back the audio. Patika, Patika, Patika. Patika, Patika, Patika. 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 Patika, Patika, Patika. So at this point, the hope is that the next team will be able to implement a backend so that once you decide that this is a usable audio file, it'll be sent to a backend, it'll be stored, it'll be analyzed, probably using Whisper.Dart, a speech recognition package. And at that point, results will be sent back. So you'll get a test accuracy. And then we'll also have a page where you can see more results. So you would press this and you would get further results about the speech that was just collected. At this point, we can return home. You could press reset and redo the test, or you could just press this button come back and complete a completely different test.